But we don't want to empower people here. We say that our lawmakers, we have become lawbreakers. We have become criminals. We put all the money in the budget for ourselves and leave them out. I want to challenge some of your lawmakers. Some people say they want this senator. They're breaking all the law. The law you make is breaking the law, but you want to go up. You know why people want to go out? Because they want to increase the time. They say they are too short. You cannot be a cancer, then you want to run global. You cannot be a lawmaker that disrespecting the law that we made ourselves. Then you say you want this senator, and then you waste your time. Nobody here can be for the government economy. But when we can be for it's not happening, and it will never happen. The only thing they are there for, when last people for the government keep and say, Sankebe people, don't know I'm going to say, give me 1% I want to go in law. But they say that over there is why they are family people because they need work. And the person that need work and the person Sankebe people say they want that. We employ our family people, but some people are happy because it is a time to be happy. It is nobody time when the country is not better. It is everybody time when the country is better. And we give this as a challenge to all of you people. 2029, we may be on the ballot for the presidency. Where we will come here and say, you people will have to appoint a commissioner for sacred day. The Bolosagales, they are educated people. It's not about education. It's about how well you govern your people. They have people that have degrees, they know nothing. The only person with every people that they achieve nothing from. Our marketeers will come to power. In every country, at least 2 million and breakdown for marketeers, split them rather, and younger boys to empower themselves. The money is there, but everything is long before carrying the benefit out. Because we are close. When they were coming, they said they were freedom fighters. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they came, freedom fighter, you brave me now. Freedom fighter, you kill me now. Freedom fighter, you destroy now. Okay. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they came, when they came, what kind of people? Freedom fighter, you brave me now. Freedom fighter, you kill me now. Freedom fighter, you destroy now.
Hello.
Yeah,
My friend, you made mistake. I heard you last night. Me and Boone used absolutely after the whole election and in a corner. If you hear my preaching most Sunday, you will conclude that I'm right. Will you rescue as a negotiator after winning? The broadcaster don't even answer my phone, don't pick me up, you don't let me down, they don't even have time. I don't talk because we all know what is happening and everything I will accept it because our son who is vice president to him for Nimba, the Nimba will not understand the translating on the they tell us for the from where go, they tell us the of the funding and the tax of the ruling and the amnesty law and everything and the position statement for the commission who decided on budget is here. They tell the way forward is the power of for peace. Then my brother come now. The receive are coming there. They not there, don't be there. And you know where you just think it's walking away better. You want to go out of people? Then, you know the TDC control the one in the upper arm. So they went talking away
Oh yes, yes indeed. What a good Tuesday morning. And indeed, a good day, a wonderful opportunity to be back behind these microphones to engage as always on the issues that matter to Liberia's growth and development.
What kind of people they so? They are freedom fighters.
And today is the
what kind of people they so? They are freedom fighters. You freedom fighter, you rape.
It's the Tuesday.
They are freedom fighters. Freedom fighter, you killing our children. They are freedom fighters. Freedom fighter, you destroying our country. They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighters, you're raping our women. Freedom fighters, you're killing our people. Increased mysterious death all across the country. The rescuers, the freedom fighters. When it came their time, I started misplacing priority. Good morning. Good morning. Just wherever you are this morning, a pleasant welcome to yet another exciting conversation on the People Station, Freedom 87.9. Oh yes, we are back. The voices of no fear. Today is gonna be brutal. Today is gonna be brutal. Brutal. Some people are gonna say all kinds of things today. Hey, just whatever you're doing this morning, you wanna suspend it and spend some time with us. We will not allow a gang of rogues, teaming up, criminals, state looters to determine the pace, to determine the agenda of our people, particularly the public conversation. Because when they do, they will shield the real issues, the real hurting issues. But jamais. We will keep you in tune and discuss those affecting the patients, there at the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital. The sick and dying Liberians all across the country at the abandoned government facilities. Even paracetamol, you can get it in government clinics and hospitals across the country now as we speak. And the government is attempting to shift the conversation to a meaningless campaign for a Security Council seat. What is the Security Council seat? Rape, and rape. We have a dead Ministry of Gender, Children's Protection, child trafficking on the increase. The government does not want you to be talking about that. Unemployment. Our jobs are being sold to foreigners. 74 ghost names discovered in the office of the president, with hundreds of thousands being siphoned monthly. The government does not want those conversations to be the center of our national discourse. Right, so they take us to carry us. But folks, there are too many things to talk about this morning on Freedom 87.9. And of course, your favorite breakfast platform, the biggest and most listened to Freedom Morning Rise. Rising from the top in the heart of Kerry Street in Monrovia. Good morning to those of you in Kipamot, Grand Cape Mount, Bapolu, Nimba County, tribalism above reasoning, tribalism above development. That's the people of Nimba. Judgment Day, they will carry tribe. By tribe, they will carry to God. Is it God? Oh, yeah, about our trouble being on. The boss say they won't develop, or say no, we won't try. But they are still very good people in Nimba. But they say majority carry the day. The outcome of the elections, and of course, jumping over there, body man, all can get elected. Just pick you. Hey, Nimba, a very progressive, beautiful country. But again, with small election decision making problems. All my Nimba friends will be all in my inbox this morning. But trust me, man, that's the beauty of democracy, and it's good. The struggle continues. Labrador does not end right there. We will go again. We'll try again until we make this place better. Good morning to our friends in the diaspora. Those of you following us, some of you are already dropping your comments, which we will recognize. My good friend and ardent follower, Amara Jala Kamara. We're there in Broxville. Good morning from Monrovia. So at 9 o'clock, we talk refugees matter. There's been lots and lots of cry from Grand Juda County. Now look, the Burkinabes are taking our farmland. They are taking over. But who's bringing the Burkinabes? There are countries between Liberia and Burkina Faso. They will get jumped over the country. How are they even entering? What is the nature of the arrangement? At what point does the government comes in? What has the government been doing as we effort to get current government officials to come around to talk to us? I know a lot of them are afraid of us. They say, oh, the men can ask hard questions, they're afraid of us. Their education not reach school. That scheming education they can be doing. So they're scared of us. But the platform is available to everybody. You come, you say your own, we say our own. Don't be afraid. So at 9 o'clock, of course, Reverend Festus Logan, former head of the LRRC, will be our guest, and we'll talk just it all. Whether it's the Burkinabe situation in the southeast or other refugee-related matters, returnees. So about our Bujumbura camp people, you can kind of listen to and hear the facts. These plus other issues making the news this morning on The Conversation. My name is Abu Sharif, and of course, as always, Hagar Gunnar is right here. In the second key is Hagar, good morning. Let me hold that on. I was thinking about the Champions League that Baga was lifting yesterday. Hey, saw it?
Good morning, Abu. Good morning to you, Liberians, following us this morning. It's good to be right back here. Abu, you spoke about the issue of the patients at the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital. Correct. But interestingly, you can record during the course of last week, I think on Thursday and Friday, we had a conversation on that.
Yeah, in fact, we were the first to flag it.
So when we started that,
before other people went with their cameras
and all of that,
which is good. I mean, the country can follow what we do here.
So the shocking thing and disappointing thing about it is, Abu, I've gotten intel, and I will be displaying videos, and later on, hopefully, we'll be displaying video where the administrators, those responsible for the dialysis section at the Ministry of the John F. Kennedy Hospital, they are now trying to politicize the health of Liberians.
Okay.
They are now telling the guys, for you we treat you, for this person we treat them, but for you who went on the radio, you'll go back to the radio before we treat you. And I think this is not something good for our country.
Oh, really? They say that?
Yes, you cannot have people who are experiencing serious health issues, and then
do they think it's a matter of choosing between who to serve, especially at JFK?
It is just being unprofessional, Abu. For whatever reason, the best thing you can do is to seek to ensure that the person who have gone there to seek medical attention, you can attend to them well, and ensure that the person. That's what the people, they weren't wrong when they said that they were being iced, or the administrators there are collecting money from them and not giving them what they're paying for and all of that. So for me, I don't think it was wrong for them to express their concern, and we can say that these people are currently being abandoned by the government through the JFK hospital for whatever reason. For me, I consider that to be a political reason.
Okay.
And all we can say is that the government have to ensure that the health of these people are paramount. It cannot continue to use Liberians in such form and manner. These are people who they themselves have the right to live. Today we're talking about witnessing the voting process there at the United Nations Security Council or the United Nations. We cannot be talking about these things fighting for Liberia to get a non-permanent seat. Then we'll still be talking about people being treated in such form and manner. It is
but
not
we
good.
have those videos, right? Because when we begin the conversation about our opinion on the whole United Nations Security Council non-permanent seat, we will want to play some of those videos, some of the recordings from the markets where Liberians. So it's about priority. What is the government's priority? What's national priority? Where should we put our concentration? what really mattered to us mostly. But anyway, just before all of that, today is Tuesday, right? And we have the cash giveaway as well, and we're paying $4,000 to our winners. For those of you out there, you can join us this morning by dialing *799 *11#. Make sure you have at least $100 Liberian dollars on your phone, or its equivalent in US, and then you're qualified. So *799 *11# is all that you have to do this morning to walk away with $4,000. So basically, what happens is, if you're lucky to win $4,000, then you have money for a chance to win the 20,000 tomorrow. So that is the good thing about it, right? So be a part. The more you play, the better your chances are to win. And of course, that's exactly what it is. But some things have been happening here, that it is important for us to keep our eyes on, right? And it's quite interesting. I'm told yesterday, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, through Cornelia Kratupa, appeared at our sister radio station in an effort to provide justification, or in her mind, clarity, right, for the stealings that they have been doing at the ministry, the president office. And again, I like to repeat to all of us, it is in my interior. It has no bearing. She can, if she likes, she can appear on all of the talk shows and radio stations in the country. It still does not erase the fact that other report has hooked she and her bosses for act of financial malfeasance at the office of the president. It does not erase the fact. This attitude of always thinking that we can always use public sentiment as excuse for accountability is shallow, and so nobody's going to fall for that nonsense. Yes, what must happen going forward? Every Liberian must join rank, calling on their lawmakers to ensure the full implementation of the audit report, because the GSC herself cannot, act on it. So they make submission to the legislature. The Joint Public Accounts Committee must prioritize these conversations, because look, this is a regime, this is a mission that came to rescue, right, and has been going after implementing for the most part other reports, right? And there must be no attempt to shield this embarrassing audit report. And any lawmaker that will attempt to cover this one, and we want to hold all of those on the Joint Public Accounts Committee there, right? We want to keep an eye on them, and very soon we'll be reaching out. These conversations need to be elevated. Cornelia and her likes will have the opportunity to go and face the senators or the legislators and explain to them on why, right, all of what happened. And they still have a chance to bring the 74 human being, right, to show. So you not go on my friend Julius show, and then you go sit down there and talk blah 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 and all of that. So somebody was telling me, oh, you need to take your time to listen and all of that. But I like to keep us on the issue. The issue here is there were other reports conducted, and the other report established that there are terrible malfeasance, administrative malfeasance, and of course financial malfeasance that was being carried out. And I told you yesterday that this lady intend to contest in District 13. So she's doing everything. She's involved into lots of terrible things in that ministry. But if you, like she's always told people, that she is a politician, she is a lawyer, she is an executive of the Unity Party, and they are the one running this town. So let's see. It's important, right? Go and face, a panel. Auditors call you, you run away, you don't carry the thing there. They give grace period. Stay all the tabata you explaining. You don't tell the people, right?
It's being irresponsible on her part, because all of these opportunities were given to you to display.
You didn't. And besides, the auditor said some of what she's explaining, right? All of those things are inconsequential.
Mm-hmm.
The law says this is what you must do. You go ahead, you do your own thing, right? Then you say that your own cook or narrative that you're using, the law must accommodate that. You see, the guys are running the country as if to say it's their power firm. But anyway, so on yesterday, we witnessed the former president, whom office was kind of busy yesterday, right? He had two important guests. They've not told us, the purpose of the meeting, and we're not going to pretend as if to say we know what they were meeting around. But our best guess will be that it is a good meeting at about this time, right? As much as we do not have information on the details of the meeting, but to see in this critical moment, right? The U.S. ambassador, I think this should be the second or third in the series since he took over, right? Mm-hmm. That he has visited with the former president of Liberia. I think it should raise an eyebrow.
So somebody said the current U.S. ambassador has visited the former president more than the current president. So
okay, so you see that. So he has. I mean, it's becoming a regular thing. So what are they comparing notes on? Right? What are they comparing notes about? We are gradually becoming a darling board to Benson Street, and they believe his opinions about governance and national issues are very, very important. So every other time there are issues, the ambassador, without any public notice, right, will just be seen either exiting a meeting with the former president or about to embark on a meeting with the former president. Yeah. So a lot of people are kind of thinking, what is it?
But there is certain character and quality of Weah that you cannot just underestimate. No matter what his position, no matter where he finds himself, there are certain things about him that you just cannot do away with. This guy has built an internationally recognized character, and not just the U.S. embassy, but there are others who still see him as the key decision maker, especially when it comes to maintaining the peace of our country. Mind you, now he's the head of the biggest opposition within the country. Okay. So all of these things, considering what all going on, our partners themselves realize and understand the fact that this country, the way the government is proceeding, isn't right. Evidenced by the fact that the government is involved into police brutality, disrespect for the rule of law. In fact, understanding the harsh economic conditions that Liberians are faced with.
Could that be the reason why?
Yes, all of these things.
Ambassador Tuna always facing.
Yes, all of these things. All of these things you always.
But Mr. Weah is not the president.
So the reason the U.S. recognize the fact that all of these things have the propensity to undermine the peace of any country. The living condition of the people, when people feel that they are being marginalized and they are being ill-treated because some individuals believe they are close to power or they are within the power and all of that. When you start to treat people in these kind of forms and manner, it increases the tension in the country and it put the peace and stability of the country at stake. So in this case now, the U.S. understand the government is irresponsible. We can't go to these guys. They are irresponsible.
No, that one not your opinion. They
are irresponsible and vindictive. So we cannot work with these guys. Let's talk to the opposition that we believe is able to understand all of these things, to understand and be able to recognize.
Okay, so now you're getting somewhere.
So they're pushing all of these points. They come to where you have to continue to talk to your people to maintain peace. You guys taking this country. You are somebody who is recognized, the CDC, the Unity Party, and all of that. You have to talk to your people. So it's basically about encouraging him to continue to talk to his people to maintain peace. So you always see this kind of conversation, especially as we gear towards the July 17 protest.
Oh, really?
Many will be coming around to ensure that we can ensure that at least talk to his guys.
No, but one thing I can say for the record, we does not support the July 17 protest. When you hear the main supporter. But anyway, it's a citizen action. Very, do not need President Weah endorsement. The people say they're suffering, they won't go. You don't need President Weah to say I agree. So if I'm hungry, you think I need Weah to say, oh yeah, I agree, you hungry? No. So if I don't have a job, you think I really need President Weah, former President Weah, to say, oh yes, that's true, you can get a job before I take action? So absolutely. So what else? Weah is Cummings. I mean, if they do, fine. That means they will be recognizing the plight of the people. If they do not, it has absolutely no real-time bearing. So yes, that is not even the issue. But anyway, so Sekou Carrasco Damaro posted, he said, United States Ambassador to Liberia, Ambassador Mark C. Turner, paid a courtesy call on His Excellency Dr. George Manneh Weah on Monday, June 2, 2025, at his Jamaica Resort office. They discussed a range of national and international related issues. Also in attendance were former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador D. Massoe Sarr Kemeya Sr., who is Senior Advisor and Chief Special Envoy to former President Weah. You know how all you just passing around when you're at a court, you see a drawer, then somebody there who used to be holding something, but I won't call out of thing. Then you have Mr. Stephen C. McLeod, Senior Political Officer at the Embassy of the United States of America. Now, I think these are critical moments, and Liberia must not take their eyes away from this. Right? And predictorily, or trying to predict what I believe, having been around for quite some time now, and reading and studying the political environment in our country and the interpretation that comes with movements and alliances, and when you start to see so normally fine. So let's see the past time. How has government conducted herself and how those conducts have played in with the American interests, right? That could provide justification to an extent for why you see, the American embassy or the American representatives forging partnership, so to speak, right, with the political opposition. It is almost like diplomacy. This people are building alliances now, and alliances are built on share, vision. When you're sharing meaning, I can be alliance with you when we share meaning on political things and what have you, diplomatic things and stuff. So now, of recent, we've seen senior government officials run nasty propaganda against American interests. Just last week, we also play here where senior government communicator were alleging dangerously that America, as we speak, is planning to wage war on Liberia. We play that. We still have that recording here, and we share with some of our friends, right? And quite recently, we've heard Senator Dillon also made, Senator Dillon got bought when he went for visa, denied visa, and what have you. He has been making very condescending remarks in private and in public about the U.S. relationship with Liberia, and he believes, he's of the opinion that there must be, a reimagination of Liberia diplomatic relations, just as Raphael Pele put forth doing that on infamous oration, right? So these have been the position, and you hear the people from MICAT when they address the situation with Ivanhoe Communication and squarely place it at the feet of the U.S. government and America. So there is an anti-America sentiment that's being developed, and of course, a campaign that's being launched secretly by the government that the U.S. Embassy, I believe, has uncovered. Right? So these unwholesome and unwelcoming relationship and conversations about the U.S. in public spaces, I believe, could inform any ambassador to begin diversifying their outreach, and play neutral and, of course, objective engagement in the country to balance the equation. So beyond that, the Chinese dominance and influence that's coming, it is becoming very clear in officialdom that the government of Liberia prefer China above the US currently as we speak. And in diplomacy, the US may feel threatened because that vote that we always prefer in favor of the US and Liberia has always taken side, it will send a strong message internationally if Liberia begin to take public stand against the US and at particular international and UN voting processes. The world will be awake. Historically, this country has always. So why is it turnaround? And then it will ignite a whole new sense of conversations around American relationship and American alliances. So it's critical. So the Americans are dealing with this thing diplomatically. The Fagon attack, the Fagon insult, the economic advisor to the president insult and denigration of Americans and American relationship, the Senate committee chair on foreign affairs clear position, anti-America position, and some senior government officials, even the vice president and all of these. So if I start to see back-to-back visitation with the immediate past president, it tells me that, of course, America is seemingly identifying, right, a new partner that she believes she can cultivate a mutually beneficial relationship with in Liberia, and must begin to have engagement from the very beginning. I may be wrong. Like I said, I do not understand. I do not know. We do not have firsthand the details of the meetings. But as media people, right, we see these things, we make opinions around them. And this is my fair, appreciation of why I think this is happening, because it's happening at a time. It's happening at a time where we're seeing, a gradual shift away from U.S. focused relationship and engagement to a China, a relationship and engagement by the government of Liberia. Even though this idea is not being welcomed by Liberians, but the government is hell bent on doing same. So this is where we are. Beyond that, the Alternative National Congress political leader was also seen in a meeting with former President Weah Haga.
I saw pictures from there.
You saw that too as well, right? I think this should be the second time.
Yeah, it is.
Right, since after the election period. And Mr. Cummings recently has been making some media appearances. Unfortunately, Mr. Cummings has a very bad public relations, right? And so, unfortunately, he makes these media rounds, but yet they do not catch the public attention. And I don't know, but he has to work around that. And he has also been making and involved with some community outreach. I think the other day I saw him on the old road, right, having engagement. So there could be some political conversations happening among actors now as we speak. And the fact that Cummings walks to former President Weah is indicative of the fact that Mr. Weah is seen as the arrowhead of the Liberian political opposition. What do you think?
You're right, because Abu, not even it seems, but that's the reality. You cannot deny that fight. Despite his current position or whatever, this is a man who got control over the entire political field of our country.
Okay.
Take it or leave it. Weah remains popular in this country politically. He still command higher support of the young people, especially, and that is justified. So, Cummings meeting with him, like we said, we've not gotten the detail of these conversations that were held yesterday by the office involving the office of the former president, but we are sure and certain that these conversations were all or issue-based conversation, and they were all intended and geared towards the progress of our country, and maybe soliciting his views and support on other national and international issues.
Do you foresee the possibility of they working together, Cummings and the CDC? I mean, holding all of the other factors constant, right? But now that the two political leaders are meeting, for the most part, one who say that look, Alexander Cummings will not, talk to Weah, man, the arrogance and that elitism
that has been the conversation
that the Cummings campaign came with, and all of that. But today we are seeing them having back-to-back meeting. Could they be forging an alliance or a collaboration, so to speak? And if so, I mean, what do you think about the possibility of that, and how significant it will be going forward?
Talking about the issue of forging political alliance, Abu, it's still difficult to speak because we still got more time. Some will say, but for me, the fight is it is important that political.
But the CPP was formed in year 2.
Yeah, but
in fact, it started year 1. So why is it?
So Abu, I listened to comments during the before the past elections on several occasions. I was even opportune at one point in time to be a part of a media team that quizzed him on other national issues, and this guy is deliberate about his stance on becoming the head of state. So,
which is not bad. Which is not a bad thing.
So, all of these things, considering all of these fighters and forging a partnership with the CDC, possible partnership with the CDC, for me, I see it difficult. Yeah, but this is
why you see it difficult?
Politics.
Why you see it difficult? Because you believe with the CDC, it is most likely to you that Cummings could emerge in a CDC collaboration with ANC as the standard bearer of the ticket, right?
That's what you think.
What do you think? Why you think why you think it's not possible?
Seditions are telling you that Weah is coming back. You've not seen that?
Of course, sedition can say Weah is coming back. Cummings can say I want to be 1 minute. Cummings can say I want to be president. Cummings and Weah enters into a collaboration, right? And then they have their conversation back and forth. At some point, the both of them agree. And we saw 2011, Mr. Weah gave in to Winston Tubman. Sedition still wanted Weah to be president.
Weah is going to be around 60, I think 64 or 60 something after 6 years from now. And I want you to understand that when Weah is successful in the 2029 elections, he got 2 terms to go. So that first one that happened already canceled.
Okay, so you think Weah?
So if Weah go second at 12 years.
But does Cummings have what it takes, right? To have Mr. Weah give the platform to him? Whether it's the constituency, whether it's the following.
With that, then I will be telling you, I don't see that, and that's the fight.
But he could have some assets. The assets could be in his quote unquote international
asset. Have not
international class.
Asset have not over the time paid off in 2 successive elections. They have not paid.
They say he has money.
He had not paid off for him in 2 successive elections.
Maybe he's invested the money in the wrong place, but if you put it in the CDC, it's the right place because it has a base.
The thing about political heads and leaders shifting their support or pledging support. you can be my political leader, for example, and I follow you, support you when you are going for a position.
Okay.
And it will come a time you tell me, say you're not going for this position, and you bring somebody that you want to support. It is up to me to choose between the person you bring in and the other options. So in this case, we have to say, you know that in 2011, the support base of the CDC in terms of vote margin declined as compared to 2005 when Winston Tubman was the head. When we came in 2005.
Correct, that's what I'm talking about.
So,
that's 2011.
Yes, so in 2005, the vote and support that the CDC had, it declined in 2011 when Winston Tubman was the head. So we have to tell you, say, because he's not too anxious and greedy for power, he could tell you, say, yeah, man, let me just give this out. But supporting the seditionists, you think seditionists we want to go for
okay,
that?
Okay, what if Kumi can agree? Okay, you know, we have to say, look, Alex, I understand your desire for the presidency in this country, but look, the way our politics is structured, the way things have been over the time, and you know, you have to come from somewhere. Yeah. So I will offer you, you know, the ticket for Montserrado County, which is the political heartbeat, so that Librarians see, and Cummins could graciously, because Cummins has relatively
go for
no political profile.
The senatorial seat in Montserrado.
Yeah,
that could be a better option for me.
And he and Omen Sensan will battle it out. But yeah,
then there could be another political conversation too.
Of course, I'm saying, I'm just thinking that this conversation could take different trend, you know,
you're right,
and all that. But yeah, folks, that's what it is. What's up with the cash giveaway, and then we can see what we can come to. So while he got checks that is looking at that, let's see who are all the people dropping their comments here, because we're going to go to some other issues now. Yeah, but it is a good thing, seditions. It is a good thing that one of Liberia's traditional ally finds your political leader befitting and, of course, appropriate at this time to have bilateral, multilateral, diplomatic, political, governance conversation with. I think it is a plus. It is a good thing. No matter how the excuse mission will term it, I mean, that is a good thing. And he drives all the way to Jamaica Resort all of the time. You know, he pays courtesy to your political leader. So clap for yourself this morning. And the rescue pigs are angry, and you know they are angry about that. And I tell you, I say, you're not making me vex anymore. You're making me vex. Listen. So Jeremiah 5, you get something?
Yes, we have to star 799 star 11 hash is the code. Star 799 star 11 hash. Maybe we can do a draw after recognizing our Facebook followers.
Okay, just go ahead because you're close to it.
Star 799 star 11 hash is the code. Then you stand a chance to receive 4,000 here. Just for 100 LD, you stand a chance to receive 4,000 $11. Let's get to Jeremiah Farr, first comment right here this morning. It says, I'm watching from Grand Judah County, CVR Belt, a mining sector there. That's what he says. Mohammed Mariaman J. Sheriff says, good morning, Abu. I'm watching from Mamadi Diakite Intellectual Forum in Jacobtown, St. Francis community. Eating has become an achievement under Bwakai leadership. He says that.
Eating?
Yes, that's what he says. Alex Blamo says, good morning. Good morning, Alex. James Lamy says, good morning, bro Abu. Jula says, good morning, Abu. I'm Sharif. I'm watching from Johnsonville. Good morning. This other person, Gluto Edith, says, Gluto Ellie says, good morning, Freedom FM family. I'm watching from Sincor this morning. Fumba Okenyen says, I'm watching you live from Vartown, Monrovia, Liberia. Let's get to Masa Koi says, "Good morning, Freedom FM." Good morning, Masa. Let's get to this person. Peters Emmanuel says, "Good morning, brothers." Good morning, Chief. Gate Harris Gate says, "I'm watching live from a Visual Media Incorporated office in Dual Community." Good morning. Let's get to this person, Musa E. Sharif. I am watching you live from Gartnersville. Musa says that. When we move on to AB Jabate says, "Good morning, Abu and Freedom FM family."
But you're just watching. You're not sharing the live.
Yeah, so I am watching. Agatha Glasgow says, "I'm watching from Thinkers Village, RI Road, where the common citizen children live." Good morning, Agatha. Amara Jala Kamara says, "Good morning, Freedom Radio Liberia family. I am following live from Brussels as always." Good morning. George Watkins Jr. says, "Good morning, everyone. I'm following from my comfort zone in District 13, Montserrat County, Liberia." Then we move on to this person, Phenomenon Deba. Phenomenon says, "Good morning, Freedom FM family. I am Phenomenon Deba from Marshall, Margibi County. Good morning." Andrew Taylor says, "Hi, Abu, watching from Michigan, the USA." Odell E. Gibson says, "Good morning, Abu." Where next? Josiah Buse. Josiah won't bring in the Macan political. Josiah money. Josiah says, "Which country is developing the NEMA since they do not pay attention to traps?"
Man, we're talking about in the election, man.
Yeah.
And myself,
Yasa Sharif says, "Good morning, guys." Good morning, man.
Oh yeah, Yasa.
Barbara Rose Stanford. "Good morning from my end. I am watching from my residence in Brooklyn, New York City. Thanks for the show." She says that. Thursday says, "Good morning, family." Thursday to Thursday says, "Good morning, family." Yes. Choklon Cha says, "Good morning, guys." Kafumba Kane says, "Good morning." Good morning, Kafumba. Fifth Moba says, "Good morning, Freedom FM, Freedom family. It is unfortunate for us to still be discussing about GSC report not being implemented by the rescue government, because this was one of their major campaign promises." Thank you. This person, Henry T. Toh Jr. says, "Good morning. I'm watching from my residence in Caldwell. Thanks for the show." Thank you too. Burgess GK Lamandi says, "Good morning, Abu and their co-host. Following the conversation from Painesville City, District 6. Good morning." Fit Moba says, "Respect and honor are earned by integrity and hard work, not by life wasting opportunities and deceptions. The former president has earned respect and honor with integrity and hard work, while the current president has wasted opportunities and lived in his whole life in deception and falsehood." That's what he says. Venetius Junior Bar says, "I'm watching live from New Crew Town." Good morning, Venetius. Daniel Jeba says, "Good morning, Freedom FM Radio. My name is Daniel M. Jeba. I'm following you from my comfort zone in District 17, Montserrat County, Breville City. I will continue with your good work for the Liberian people. Only God Almighty will pay you." Let's get to this one right here. Journalist Elijah Nimlen Wisa says, "Good morning, folks. I am watching live from Greenville, Sino County, from the main compound of LBS 105.5 FM. He says that. Stephen Fowler Jr. says he's watching. He says, "I'm watching live with you." This other person, D. Kobe Jr. says, GMB slave. Who are you calling us? Okay, I think he was responding to one of the commenters over there. Nathan Page says, "Good morning, Freedom FM. I'm watching from Kakata." T. Hens A. Newpan, good morning, Freedom family, and good morning to President. We are the people's president. I'm watching from Fender. Bangali Dollar says, "Good morning, Abu and Higa. I'm watching live from Abidjan this morning. Thanks for the topic under discussion." Samuel Light Cooper, I know Eugene Fagon is always a short-term presidential nominee. So that man not still long, so he is finding a way for his sacking. I know. So the man are still on. Okay, I think that's what you're trying to say. Maybe I'm put simple English. Theo Jabate says, "Good morning. Thanks for the show, the update." He says that. August Laura Gill says, "Good morning, Freedom family. Thanks for the great work I'm following from Brewerville." Johnson Dollar says, "Good morning, guys. I am watching for my New Jersey resident this morning." He says that I would come. Let's get to Michael J. Momo, who says he's watching from Habel Firestone, Margibi County, Habelville community. He says that. David O. Johnson says, "Good morning, guys. I am following you from my bedside in my comfort zone in Minneapolis. Good morning." Jefferson Koji nephew says he's following from the CDC headquarters. Vivian Solo Queen says, "Good morning, guys." Good morning. I think that's all we can take, Abu. Right here. That's all.
Yeah, that's all, but that's fair enough. So, folks, continue to follow. Drop your comments on the different issues, and of course, and that can make it interesting, right? While we roll out the discussion point, you can also say your views, and we can talk about it, right, and flag it as well. So the Kura family is doing. The one is being reported that the Labor Minister Kopo Kura has allegedly given the contract to print all work permits to his law firm, Henry's Kura and Associates. And the report says that each of the permit books are printed for $100. The law firm gets $100. So, for example, 100 on 8,000, 100 by times 8,000. You say how much? But that is that. So the Kura aren't joking. You know what I mean? But this same Kura, man, I'm told there is an audit report on him while he served as Post and Telecommunication Minister. Very damning report. So here in dollar that one, right? Yeah, they probably get 130 all the report. The dollar get 130 all the report. Two of them will be remembering God. But yeah, folks. So there's been a lot of hype around this whole UN General Assembly thing, and my issue has been the idea. First of all, let me disabuse the idea of trying to make. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the crumb stuff. Come back right here.
So the idea of trying to make it seem as though somebody's citizenship is qualified or disqualified by by a campaign is terrible, and of course is disgusting. The success or failure of a campaign has no bearing on people's patriotism, on people's love for country. It is the merits and demerits of the campaign that lures support. So reasonably, if somebody thinks the government's proceedings are not convincing enough to lend their backing, it does not render the person less Liberian and render people who are clueless in their support more Liberian. So let's get that straight. But like Hagar said, let's take a word with Crime Stopper and our partners. When we come back, we'll go into the nitty-gritty. And I know a lot of you have got fundamental problems with the government and how she's proceeding with this. But you're afraid that, The government will bring you as unpatriotic and they will call you names so you're afraid. But just wait, I have a conversation for you.
So when we come back, hopefully we try to do a draw star 799 star 11 hash, just $100 Liberian dollars. You stand a chance to receive 4,000 right here this morning.
It's about music. There are crowds in many places. In every community, you know, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take that in your hands for your authority. But it can't take your login. Crime stop right here for us. We need safety to your door. Whether you reach or you go. If you see a you not talking, I mean you check it. Do it for safety. If you see a don't keep it. I'm about to report. Crime stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stop me crime and make it before them before. Crime stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime stopper, keeping us safe, let's stop me for all of us. Crime stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stop me crime and make it before them before. Crime stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime stopper.
Crime Stopper Liberia is here for you. Remember, see it, report it. This is a message from your own self-opening, Homeless Messiah.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stop me crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stop me crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stop me crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's not be crime for all of us.
Okay, folks, welcome back, Crime Stopper Liberia. So yes, quickly. So why Crime Stopper rolling? We were just munching over something. But look, folks, the ANC people, whoever in the ANC that's advising Mr. Cummings to be taking all your body, and God dare you to be putting your body. Yeah, I don't know what they go, what they seek to achieve. And Cummings, yeah, man, yeah. But let it probably be put in important. Just Mr. Cummings, dress your regular way. Appear your regular way.
The man dress like one of us.
Yeah, but it's man dressing the scrapper and man even get time for no Cummings. I mean, you're looking nice, man. So when you dress at corporate, you're a corporate man. Don't change to fit in. Let people know. Let Liberian accept you as who you are. Just a corporate way. So whoever get that environment, they look funny on you. Already. People will not talk, and our ballet and our baby.
But you told him.
No, here the man myself get seen. The man myself get seen.
Your bed.
My man, the man myself, you go. The man myself.
Cummings got bad.
And I mean one for the man myself to be you go.
But I yeah, man, that's my us.
So me and Cummings get seen how we get seen by. So we now. So when we take our share,
Cummings get bad.
Cummings get organ about it. Yes, Cummings real. Cummings. I bet Cummings get bad more than person in the hole.
So you want me call him so you can do the mission.
Physical president.
The man know the man got body more. You got height more than him, but he got body more than you.
My man, don't that the pool no political leader. Don't make a gun. But anyway, Cummings is a nice guy, and easygoing, and he has he's a man who is who believe one thing.
He's determined.
Yeah, and when he say that thing, yeah, blah, no matter what you do, circumstances relativism does not matter to Cummings.
I think what Cummings, like you said this morning, what he's lacking is the better team to sell him out. But even the media team that he always building, they have always failed him. But Abu, there are too many things about Cummings that you as a person who did public relation, you are able to sell Cummings and the public will accept graciously. But the people around him apparently either they are lacking that knowledge of selling the goods they got or the commodity they got, or maybe they themselves not just knowledgeable to what it's supposed to be like to sell a man like Cummings. But he's a marketable candidate. He's a marketable person. He's somebody who, when you have the right breed of people to sell him out, trust me, in no time he will be accepted in the public. But again, what we pray for, we pray for strength. Let him just continue to be as healthy as he is and continue to be determined in what he wants for Liberia.
Yeah, but the thing what you be moving from 7% or 1%, I think it's hard to defend.
Yeah, so that is because of the poor media and marketing team that he got. Poor media and marketing team.
All book can be going up.
Why you think somebody who is not educated will be going against a person who is educated? But the person who is educated, the team can present a better debate to defeat the one who who is more educated. The one who is not educated, team can present a better debate to defeat the man who is educated. So it just depends on the kind of strategy, the kind of team you get to sell you, and all of that. But Cummings is spending his resources the wrong place, giving it to the wrong people, and they are not doing the better work that he deserves. And that's why
I think Phoebe Herons was one of the wrong people he gave. Phoebe Herons. Me talking that. But anyway, I call my friend the guy in description that the medicine man for Henry's. So, but basically, Liberians, what we're trying to say here is anything that have got to do with the collective national interest of the country is something that everybody benefits from. It's something that everybody rallies around and support. It is only today that the government campaign on the idea that a certain group of Liberians are against the country and all have lost the right of patriotism and nationalism, and they make that a central conversation in national leadership and governance decision-making processes, right? So then it creates an environment of division, discrimination. It erodes the sense of national inclusion or entitlement. So which is dangerous and must not be coming from the government, particularly the president. You understand? So today we are talking the National Security Council, where there's going to be the vote conducted at the UN today, right? First of all, the first misinformation is that the government made it seem to all of us as though Liberia was going into an election or a competition with somebody else, and that Liberia needed to garner votes or garner more support than the other person, right? So that Liberia will be able to win. And then you have to have a period of canvassing, and you have to have resources for campaigning, and then you have to have people go around and do publicity stunts and, of course, media engagements in Liberia, where it has very minimum bearing on the activities at the UN headquarters in Washington, in New York, sorry. Right? So we need to be clear, because the way the government moves, the government has to be very, very clear and sincere in her discussions. When you tell the people, you got to be clear, you got to be truthful, be real with the people. Tell the people, say, this is this, this is that, right? When you do it that way, then you're good. So we identify the missteps, and then we tell you the nature of what is going to happen today. And then you sit down in your room. Does it, all of the things that we see going on, is it really important? Then you will know, right? Okay, a bit of this. We'll be back.
It's about musical. They are crowds in many places. In every community, you know.
Okay, so that is that, right? So we laid out on one side. That whole UN Security Council thing, Labor not going to say, oh, that election, Labor and Guinea going contest. So Labor po you gotta wake up, you gotta stay on. In a Guinea po coming go vote again. Oh no, that's not the situation. Or Labor and DRC, right? The Security Council seat does not work like that, and the vote comes every year. Every year they will elect 5 person for 2 years. They elect 5 person for 2 years. So our friend Wanto did a nice article breaking it down for all of us to understand. Right? So let's just say that to you, and then you'll be able to understand exactly. He says, understanding the UN Security Council election process. It's important because there's a lot of misinformation. The government wants to justify the monies that they're taking from the Liberian people and wasting it when the dialysis machines are down in JFK. They're about publicity stunts. And you can't run government like that. You can't run government squarely interested in public relation optics, social media frenzy. And this is the terrible things that's happening in the country, and nobody want people to. When you say it, and then other non-entities sit in corner and be talking about, oh, you know, I wouldn't gotta, oh, this, I go talk. Let me bring up more information. Say you come in talk or what? The United Nations Security Council has 15 members. We're providing this education for our regular Liberian, the masses, so that they will understand that you don't need to go on your Facebook page and go change your profile page. No, it mean nothing. Whether you change it, you not change it, it has no real-time bearing on anything.
It's not like Liberians going to vote for a lawmaker or president. No, that's not the case. In this case, it's almost like the speakership election. You, as a common person who voted for the lawmaker, you get no right now to vote for speaker.
No, that speakership election said they will go be casting vote, and they will be voting. 2 persons will be contesting, or 3 people will be up against each other like that. So now here's it. It's a 5 permanent members with veto powers. That the most important part of this whole United Nations Security Council thing. And that one there, clear, the war is clear. Say that only 5 countries there. And the 5 countries can alter what happened with the war, can decide what happens. Every critical global decisions are approved and taken by these 5 permanent members, and they can veto and alter any critical global decision. That is the most significant of the 5. And those 5 countries are China, France, Russia, the UK, and the United States. So what that means is that if there's a critical decision, maybe UN or the world want to decide to say, okay, let's take a vote, right, to impose sanction on Israel, right? Then 4 of those 5 countries say, yes, we agree because of what is happening in Gaza. If the US says no, that decision is not involved. It can be taken. And you understand? Then 10 non-permanent members elected for 2-year terms. The other people are permanent. They are there for ever, amen. 10 non-permanent. On a 2-year term. You go spa. You move on there. right? And it is among that 10 that Labor expressed her desire while President Weah was then president, right? He expressed Labor desire, right, for a seat on the non-permanent Security Council. Let's break the whole thing down. Each year, the General Assembly elects 5 new non-permanent members. 5 new each year. So of the 10, you always have 5 sitting. Then every year they elect 5 new ones to replace the ending term of the outgoing 5. So the 5 available seats are distributed regionally. Africa has 2 seats. So that 2 seats are already sitting on there for Africa, right? So 2 African countries will have to express, the desire to occupy that seat. Then it is secure. Then they go now among the membership of the UN, right? It is about affirmation. Certain number of countries in the United Nations will have to affirm, right, your occupation of that seat. So basically, it's not like, it's just to affirm that, Africa say, they sit there, they get it 2 countries, they get it 2 seats. So that Liberia and DR Congo won't sit down there. So yeah, all the other countries, based on the the relationship, say yeah, we agree. That's what it is. Asia 1 seat. Latin America and the Caribbean 1 seat. Eastern Europe 1 seat. All the other people, they total that 5, right? All the other people, they have countries from there that are vying for you. But we're not seeing them campaign and make it something like the way our Labor people, our Baka government have made it to be.
How many see as an achievement?
Right? 2, the voting mechanics, the way the voting happened. All 193 UN member states vote by secret ballot in the General Assembly. To win a seat, a candidate must secure 2/3 majority of the vote cast. That means of the 193 members,
You must have at least 129.
129 countries must affirm that, Liberia, the way we see Liberia going, they're on a good trajectory. The democracy is perfect. Human rights, the rule of law, everything okay. They will make good, adequate representation. Their views on global politics, their voting pattern at the UN on critical crisis area, like in Gaza, like in Ukraine, the position they've taken, we believe is in line with, globalization and all of those. So yeah, we agree for Liberia to be there. For a region with 2 open seats, example Africa, the top 2 candidates must each meet the 2/3 threshold. If no candidate reaches that threshold, additional rounds of voting are conducted. And in this case, we already know the 2 people that say they won't go there, right? So Liberia's 2025 pathways and all of that. But basically, the rest of the other things that I want to rest sounds like a PR. And I'm not sure I'm prepared to do that. But that's just the basic information that you need to know. There's not anything where you come and take other people who know citizenship from it and call and say, it doesn't make sense. Right? Now, for those that's going to be there, the countries that's going to be there, the ambassadors and permanent mission heads that's going to be there to take decision on behalf of the president of their country, right? It's going to be informed by diplomatic relationship alliances, and things. So, how good has Liberia diplomatic relations been, right? You say now in Sony when ain't got nothing to do with you. It have got everything to do with how Sarah Beslow Yanti and the folks in charge have been engineering Liberia foreign policy and engagement out there. The decisions they've been making, the alliances they've been forming. Because you build these alliances, they must be able to, and they must be beneficial. For example, if you leave the alliance with America, and you stop aligning with America and voting against America, you are by an extension, right, drawing a line away from America allies and standing in your corner, right? So whether Snow goes sit down, Snow say I endorse it. That's why I listened to the Snow conversation from the ECOWAS. He was pleading with his parliamentary colleagues to plead with their government to the foreign ministers and the president to consider Liberia. So at the end of the day, it's not on us. How Bouaka has been dealing his relationship with other countries is what's going to work. So that one get nothing to do with our patriotism, our nationalism. So, assumably, the way the government has been moving, it demonstrates to me that the government has failed terribly in her diplomatic engagements and dealing. So they need the citizen sentiment, right, to compensate for their inactions and their misdeeds. So basically now all of these things are happening to appeal to conscience. So reasoning is not sufficing anymore. The government has failed. There's engendered very terrible diplomatic relationship. In fact, unclear diplomatic dealing. Our country now, honor these folks are running like some kind of gangster republic, where you just scheming, you're not clear. Russia can you join there? China can you join there? America can you join there? Right? Countries that have been designated as drug or terrorist organizations. You go to Equatorial Guinea, you go sit down, you have meeting with them. And by doing so, you flout the principles that bounds or keeps your alliance with strategic, diplomatic or global partners. And when these things come back as a non-affirmation for Liberia's seat, you don't count down on me. You don't count down on any other Liberian that disagree with the manner and form in which the government is proceeding diplomatically and domestically. You have to consider that. So, like I said initially, from the inception, it is the ingredients contained within the campaign that generates endorsement or disapproval. If your campaign ingredients are far-reaching, if they are embedded with what proactive or progressive democratic standards, respect for human rights, dignity, and of course accountability, then you're making a valid. People have principles. There are people in this country, or there are people other before they befriend you, they want to know your worldview. They want to know the value system that you espouse, that you stand for. Not everybody are bandwagoners. So you just follow the bandwagon. Say, that security council thing, you just join sir.
The picture you post.
Yeah, you got to understand the concept. You got to understand the driving force, the message. Sometimes the messages may contradict your own principle or your value system. So if you just join the bandwagon without critically assessing and evaluating the proponents, then you be for nothing man, for nothing human being. So the notion that you loses your patriotic stance because you are critical on the proponent and the manner in which they're proceeding with the whole UN generals, and you are demanding accountability, that means you are less Liberian, is devilish. It's terrible. But I'm not bewildered by this sentiment, because the man who is the president of the country is the superintendent of what? Division, sectionalism, tribalism. And so if such a man herald a narrative on the national scene that ostracize or alienate Liberians because of their independent democratic choices, then I am not surprised, because this is what we have on our hands, and it's terrible. And this is the danger that's before us. Now, why should all of us, cry our eyes out because of a Security Council seat that's supposed to be determined by the repetition of the government engaging with our counterparts, mostly, and ignore the most important, generally, felt issues of medication in our hospitals, situation in the marketplaces, the US rate, transportation constraints. We told you about the syndicate to undermine the whole yellow machine procurement. The winds are here. The desire of the government and the president was to intervene in the road network and keep our roads pliable. The winds are here. Because of kickbacks, other people are holding it down. But we're still putting our pieces together on that subject. So this is where we are. So like when you are free to decide, you are free to choose. Right? The president becomes no more librarian than you. And of course, you become no less librarian than anybody who, ignorantly, without questioning or asking the hard question and just jump. It is always important to know what you're into, or to know what you're doing, what you're doing for. This whole idea of just rallying people, and something. Yeah, are you more librarian? You say you dance with devil, you bring war in the country, you end the country. Are you more librarian? Right? You threaten the office of the presidency in this country before. How are you more librarians? Oh, because you're in government. Or when you sat before on national platform and condemned the Lone Star of Liberia, the nation's pride, right? And campaign against the national team. So what do you think? Who do you think you are? Does that make you less librarian? And you did it. You felt you're free. You're exercising your democratic rights to choose freely. So it is on the government. I'm charging the government. My position on this thing is the government must deliver that seat. Because if the governments fail, right, they will have people like us to contend with. We have given them all of the resources. We think we come and do pampering. No, it is a mandate from the people of Liberia to deliver. If you do not, right, then validate your recklessness and uselessness as a government. It says to the world and everybody, and this is the image that they are trying to protect, and they're trying to pull all of us into it as if it's all of us business. No, it is their recklessness that they're shielding. These folks have been useless. How you been having meetings with junta leaders, taking money from killer governments around the world, damaging the democratic reputation of Liberia on the global and international stage, right? Sending envoys to anti-democratic elements, dealing with BMs, notorious terrorists. Okay, the Indian parliamentary delegation are in the country now. You know what? Basically for what? To promote concerted global action against terrorism in a country, meeting parliamentarians that lacks the balls to question government's interactions, government's dealing. But anyway, this too is Liberia, but these are the facts, folks. So the government, Baka and his people must go and bring that. If they do not, they will account for all the pennies that they're wasting. So you're wasting people's time. They're doing media rounds.
Always interesting. I'm just sitting here laughing and following the executive mansion website. We get post President Baka is expected to attend wedding.
Oh, are you kidding me? Look at it. I told you the president is less busy. He sits down there.
This country,
Friends, less busy.
President Joseph Baka will this afternoon attend the wedding of Miss Princess Thomas.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. I like to follow these things. This country. But quite on a serious note, Abu have said it all regarding this fight for the UN non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council. And sometimes when you try to do things and thinking that you are against somebody's interest, you should also be looking at the aftermath. What will happen tomorrow? What is going to happen tomorrow? The Unity Party under Bwaka was in a position. Did not realize that one day they were going to come in this position to support the very thing they criticized before. Abu, you know that the guys criticized the fight when we are started about this UN security.
Yeah. They campaign against it.
They campaign against it. Saw it will not be necessary. They fought against it. They are now at the driving seat. And today, these are the very guys. These are the very guys who are today fighting and fighting to ensure that at least their interests can be sought. And they want to make it more.
And another thing they're trying to do here, quickly, I'm sorry, right? Libraries, some of the reason why you see we have not really wasted our time on this whole thing, the job is already done. So the reason you see the government spending all the money doing flyer, passing around, right? They're trying to claim or make it seem like it was on account of these fruitless efforts, changing your profile picture, that what made them to get it. No, there's a more technical, diplomatic kind of things. It ain't that. I just want you to go home with the notion that whether you post the picture, you not post it has no bearing. Basically, before now, let me tell you what the Liberian government. Let's speak from a Liberian government standpoint. Before now, the Liberian government under WIA had secured the endorsements. What did I tell you? I said about that thing is about what? Affirming, right? That yeah, we agree with this country and blah 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 and stuff. Admission or admittance to a non-permanent seat for 2 years. So the WIA government had secured the endorsements of the US, ECOWAS, AU, and the EU. And you understand? But this rogue and criminal government is intent on what? Hiding the facts around these things and making it to appear like that they the one doing the job. There's a criminal minded people and you expect when they're doing something that me will go put my more in the useless group of idiots, criminal rogues, and say I come and go what thing? It's terrible, man. It's completely terrible. This is who they are. These are rogues. So but here is it. Your friend finished doing the work. And you come. Basically, these are responsible countries and international organizations. You know how many countries are contained here? You know how many countries are contained here? The African Union. Assuming all of the countries, over 50 countries in Africa. I don't know if all of them will be member of the African Union. I'm sure not all, but a very significant number. The European Union, right? ECOWAS own force into the AU, and the US comes with an avalanche of supporters from across the world. When America go here, American allies go there. Then you making take a lay with that with America, bringing all kind of fully Chinese thing that can steal on for Chinese lab in it. Let Chinese let the poor who care in the Senate what happened, hey boss. And they don't passing right here with Chasa and Tete and Savannah Dra. He say Chinese let the poor who Gary in the Senate, a boss. But look, folks, this is even more serious. The government is wasting our time. The government is wasting our resources. The government is wasting our time. The government is wasting our resources. You already have the slate, clean slate for this. And all we expect is that Liberia gets, admitted to the permanent seat. There is no reason why Liberia should not. There is absolutely no reason why, after securing all of these plus other personal engagements and all that, there is no reason why. But the dangerous repetition of the 79, 80 years old Baptist deacon that has come to embarrass the diplomatic reputation of this country is what we must all cast the devil out of. You need to have a national prayer, a demon casting prayer, right? Everybody got all the BBV and cast the demon. You know where you casting the demon out of? There is demon in the national leadership of our country, whether you like it or not. See, the president spoke it. So if you do not have a national demon casting prayer, all of the pastors that can have these BB crusade, you need to bring them to this country here. But I know a lot of the demons will allow Baka to endorse that. But it has to happen for those who are spiritual, who believe that things can happen spiritually, that once God comes in, we listen to some religious people who say once God comes in now, you see everything will change. The things will go right. The leaders are corrupt. The leaders are corrupt because of the absence of God. God needs to be in the center of national governance.
Preaching, you want to appreciate the money.
But how the men can be doing it?
The guy is interesting. But on a serious note, it's important.
But
some of us will not sit here to say we are against Liberia's interest.
How do we even do that?
We are not against Liberia's interest.
That way.
But sometimes it is important to note that if you must support somebody, you must support that person not because you feel you are connected to that person or you don't want to be seen as somebody against somebody, so you just want to be supportive to that person. When you want to support a person, support somebody because you feel you are convinced of the country's genuine interest or your organization's genuine interest. So this government, the fight for this UN security seat, non-permanent seat, is on the government, has been on the government from its very inception. Because, frankly, the government had the opportunity to convince partners. Let me say this to you. Many of those people who have the voting rights today, the countries that got the voting right today to go and vote and decide whether Liberia will have that seat or not, these people are always following the international media. They are always following the internet. They are seeing what is going on in our country. They continue to see how police continue to brutalize Liberians even when they are exercising their constitutional responsibility. They continue to see how lawmakers, under the support of the president, the government, the executive, disrespected the rule of law, burst into the vehicle of a certain lawmaker, burst into the home of a certain in the office of a certain speaker. All of these things were solved by the very people you go into today.
That's correct.
The very people you go into today, they sat and saw all of these things on the international platform, on the Facebook. People crying, how women were disgraced, dragged out of the CDC party headquarters, dragged on the street. Students who went to petition the government to say, pay our teachers so they can come and teach us, they were beating. All of these people, they had the opportunity, they got the opportunity, they saw this. So you don't have to come to I don't have to take here and post on my page, I support UN security, waiting, blah, 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 before somebody go vote for somebody. No. The fight for this is not the one the government started campaigning, using the country's resources and passing from country to country. No, that's not it. The fight for this is about how, since this government took over, how this government have been able to ensure that the country is reconciled. You think the people will want to vote for a country that is at the verge of political instability because of disrespect for the rule of law? Every country where people, or every society where there are certain group of people, majority, in majority or majority group of individuals sit and feel disenchanted, that organization is at the verge of collapse, or that country is at the verge of collapse. You don't respect the rule of law. Lawmakers cry, you beat on them, they fought for their rights, you beat on them, the court said, hey, do this. You said, no, I will not do it. The president came on a platform, international platform. This was something that was looked at internationally. The president said you work with you continue to work with quorum, even if that quorum is not recognized by the constitution of our country. All of these things, you think the people are blind to them? You got 54 countries in Africa. And these 54 countries, I don't know whether all of them have the right to vote, but I don't think so, because maybe they could have the right to vote there. But has the government even been able to convince Africa in general to say, hey, can I get your support?
Look at how she even disrespected ECOWAS.
ECOWAS today are Snow fighting the very Snow you're accused.
Snow got to go be begging the people.
And
other people want to lead up.
That thing what Snow said.
Huh?
Let me say this. You can say
formula start causing the people.
All of these things happening. And you think the people just sitting in that, and they can miss it and they say, oh, because Sarah Besley, Yanti Kenya, we a bunch of looters and criminals, so we vote for let's support their interests. How is this even going to benefit the common people?
Okay.
There was a heavy rain out.
Oh, okay.
So how is this even going to benefit the common people? Except we want to check up on him again. So it is not something that I have to come be passing around sharing. Oh, I support this and I support that. They think that somebody, I mean, they come in look at it, they say, oh, saying he cannot support it, he cannot support it, we will not vote for Liberia, or saying he can support it, we will vote for Liberia. Or no, not the government had the opportunity to work to ensure that they give the admiration of those who they are running after today to get their vote. But when you get a bunch of people who feel like the country belongs to them, when you get a bunch of vindictive and arrogant group of people, this is where we are. And at the dying meaning, you come here around here begging, so people can. What do we do now? We got nothing to do now. What case?
Yeah, so let's take some calls, folks, on these and other issues that we've been talking about. So whether you want to speak about the Ellis Cummings visit, the ambassador's visit to President Weah back to back, and of course the Security Council subject, and what you think, you can relate it to your current living condition. We will continue to say the resources that are being put into all these fruitless campaign and all that could have been redirected, and the president and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs just continue on the path of strategic engagements on the diplomatic stage with counterparts in the UN system, right? And that's what actually matter. Instead of sending boys to OKFM and putting T-shirt on them and printing paraphernalia and passing around Monrovia and distributing, these things have absolutely no real-time bearing on the process. But so the president is going for a wedding party today. It's important for you to know.
I think what a weekend had that thing.
What a weekend! But you're reading it. So yeah. So but anyway, today I don't know what kind of party you'll be doing, but this is it. 07.
The person will go sit down to how they call it, Foreign Affairs.
Is it Tari? They're having Tari and all these things just to justify.
So we'll go there. I'll go there.
To be stealing.
I'll go there. I will sit down. I will pray for my country to be successful.
Yeah. So we too will be there. But while we're there, we'll ask them the hard questions and say that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is terribly being run right now. I don't know, but 0776 104 104 086 500 104 plus 231 886 500 104. Okay. That foreign affairs. So how far is the Nicotech scholarship? What kind of foreign means talking large Sonny, right? 0776 104 104 086 500 104 are the numbers to call. So let's take a few calls and then we go to our guy. Hello, good morning. You have to move away from your monitor or we'll cut you off. 776 104 104 086 500 104 plus 231 86 500 104 are the numbers to call. And of course, you will be live on the conversation. This caller. Good morning. I'm sorry, we're not going to continue with you. And so, yes, I hope Hagar can usher our man. So we use the rest of the time. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Abu.
Morning. I'm fine. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Rufus. Calling from Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are quite the issues on the US, the seat that Liberia is vying for. That one, me and I mean those because we just they now work properly to get it. So even when they say the money are responsible because the people seeing why they in the country.
Exactly.
The brutality on their own citizens, they people see the zero humanity to go get on the block. Now, the person will pray, so we pray for it for now to social class we get any result.
Mm-hmm. So the same way they say we pray for the economy. So anything in the country now, we just pray. When they read the street, you don't call the people now to pray. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much. There's a scheme of Sagama, quite for this morning. For the issue concerning the non-feminine seat, I think we are praying for the to win it.
Okay.
But what our government has been doing, especially a government that is very lawless, a government that does not respect the constitution of the land, and looking at this thing, we don't really know, but we just pray that if that we're having to win it, we congratulate the former president and the administration for laying the foundation. But for this government, what they have done and what they continue to do, they will set a bar, let us say, for our country to win the particular seat.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I will say that, well, this is Mohammed Mohammed. I thank you guys for the camera job, you know.
Go ahead.
Abu, I want to appreciate you guys for asking about me to find. Because these guys are around here lying to the people. What you are doing, you are doing that. I would like to appreciate you guys. Appreciate the freedom family. But I don't want to contact the position that this executive council was prepared by President Weah. And they all effort for this country to have this. So I don't want to see the people on the other side today, or maybe it will have to have to speak to people to share their things for that. How can you run 1 year, 6 months, can I just 6 months to run for it is not impossible. So I don't want to see the person on the social media saying, oh, forget doing that.
Okay.
So,
all right, thank you very much. My sister are trying to get her if she can.
Good morning, Abu. Good morning.
Good morning. Your friends AU, ECOWAS, EU endorsement, they ain't print flyer. Yeah, go ahead, Peter, sir.
The issue is, I would be very disappointed for the community, Great Africa, whoever was to endorse this government for all their efforts they are carrying out. There will surely be an endorsement of the breaking of the rule of law.
Okay.
There will be an endorsement for enslaving our life. There will be an endorsement for all the regular attitude. Can you imagine a government who is seeking this kind of endorsement? Will be in a time meaning fighting a speaker like this. They know that what it's doing will be, counterproductive to their quest of getting whatever seat. But they were doing it with full face, going against the Supreme Court ruling.
Okay.
Then they will look at some of what and say, well, it's like, no. They will be an endorsement. Look, international community, daily policy, you're going to suffer us more.
All right.
It shouldn't be surprising to you. They will be like, what is the Council of Judges did? You'll be endorsing this when you found them more to someone like want to kill honestly. They in King Joy, all you know.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's hear Arvin. Good morning.
Now, good morning, my dear friend, brother Abu Shari and Higa. And let me say.
Well, what is first of all, Arvin, the gathering that's been promoted by you, is it a CDC party gathering or partisans just organizing for a meet and greet event?
Welcome. That's not me. I know the CDC had different auxiliaries and organizing the party.
Yeah, we saw you on your page. You're promoting.
Because I share it.
And that's why I'm asking
anything that represents the CDC, we can endorse that without hesitation. So that is our monumental inherent obligation towards the forward march of the indomitable march from the democratic change. So we are gathering in politics at times. You got to look at.
So is it? I want to know. Is it the party gathering or just a group of partisans?
It's a regular visitation. It's about coming to the party headquarters and spending time at your party headquarters and interacting with partisans.
Okay.
And some of comrades who you have not seen for a long period of time, and just go and meet and greet. It is not a political rally. It is now area where people will be giving speeches or where we're going to have press conferences. Absolutely no politics.
Okay.
So it's
purely, fair enough.
It's purely social, but with reservation, which is social discipline.
Okay, fair enough. So what's your point?
Yeah, my point here is that we don't have to dignify the workers' government and their so-called propaganda on their international relations they try to build. I want to use the opposition community. You have to parachute themselves from the diplomatic eclipse with their so-called campaign for a non-permanent member status at the United Nations General Security Council. As far as we concern this country, over the last 1 year and few months, Waka and his administration has the world's most dangerous and worst human rights record ever in the history of this country. They have broken every fabric of our law. They have degenerated the democracy into nothing but total calamity that has put this country democratic credential on the brink of collapse. So, the party have been around 12 years, been campaigning for the one permanent seat when they were on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and part of our vice president. The question is, what is the democratic dividend that it brought to our people that we have been around for over 100, almost over 90 years or 80 years plus now? Has been a democratic. So it's not about going for permanent seat. It's about bringing permanent development, permanent reform, permanent transformation, permanent economic and political dividend and shifting the social economic paradigm of the grand masses. That is why we should be. So the question is, if you go there, you come down and they bet you, what is the dividend? How does that benefit JFK? How does that benefit the public school in Bogon Chile? How does that benefit the market women who are crying that the social economic condition, the market situation are not in our favor and there is appalling market climate in the country. So I want to narrow down in conclusion to say this to our partisans. I think the thing we should be celebrating here is the reintroduction of the new George Weah that has emerged yesterday that we saw, and I think it has given more hope to us citizens who believe that George Weah is coming back only to the now.
Okay.
Something is unprecedented, unusual.
Why you were not hopeful that George Weah are coming back?
My brother, sometimes the diplomatic language, sometimes the sounds and the signals on the wall. I've been very optimistic. I've been hopeful, but yesterday my hope and aspiration have been rejuvenated.
You begin hopeful.
I'm just hopeful, but I'm strategically hopeful. Look at what happened yesterday. UN ambassador went and visited George Weah. That was on the diplomatic stage, international front. On the domestic front, we Yeah, Mr. Cummings, and somebody want to say 1%. You think politics is a way about number? Politics is about realignment.
But do you have problem if 1% is reference?
I got no problem. I got no.
Yeah, but 1% and 1% comrade.
Listen now. In politics, you got to get the marketing side, you got to get the diplomatic side, you got the international relations side.
All right, I'm sorry, I have to hold you. I'm sorry, but I have to hold you. Time is fast spent. Here we got to talk refugees matter, and of course, like we told you, but that is on Reverend Logan because he came late. So, but anyway, at least he's here now, and so Reverend, good morning and welcome. It's been a while.
Well,
where have you been?
Well, I'm here, just in my little corner, sitting, minding my own business, and looking at the rain as it falls. Let me say hi to you, Abu and Gonda, for holding this platform. And I must admit that you guys are doing very good. Very, very good.
Thank you.
I just remember after all of the turbulence time, you guys were the hope. Your voices strengthened those of us I was broken at the time. Okay. So thank you. It is a blessing to be here.
Thank you, Reverend. It's good that you are here. Has life outside of mainstream politics or government job and out of that?
Well, life is still the same. Life is still being life. For the matter of fact, I ride motorbike all of the time to go to places I want to go. I rode motorbike to come here, keke. And so, of course, we are in the church doing what we're supposed to do. In fact, when I was in government, from work, I go to the church. And so it has been my life. Of course, we are in civil society, looking at all of the wrongs and speaking about it. When it's right, we speak about it. And so we're around.
Many are times when people who serve in government, especially at the top level, when they go back, during your days in government, you used to be in the cars, PB cars around. This time, people seeing you in the on the motorbikes and in the keke and all of that. There are some who conclude that maybe you did not manage what you earned during your time in government well.
I can restrict their thinking. I can restrict their views. But one thing I can tell you is that when I was in government, I rode keke to go to work. I rode motorbike to go to work. I was preparing for this time.
So what's the signal you want to send out there to them?
Well, the signal is just to be normal as you are. There's nothing big about it. If the young man down there from Sono Wink and Warren Motorbike, what's about you? You know, that's a better way to commute on places that you want to go. If you went to my former place of work, my colleagues there would tell you how I used to go to work sometime. That's me.
Do you miss the office, the time in government?
Well, especially for what I was doing, I miss it, dealing with most vulnerable people in our society, coordinating things. Yes, I miss the moment working with the colleagues that you found so much bond with for 6 years, you know, so you mix them. Yeah.
How did you left the LRRC in terms of program, projects, in dealing with the people you love to help, the most vulnerable?
So we call them the people of concerns. We left it very well. Our refugee program, when we left, was very much on course. We have...
On course, what do you mean?
We have declared cessation. Cessation is for the Ivorian refugees that were here.
Okay.
They were no longer refugees as stated by ESCOM in Geneva. We execute that perfectly. We're able to repatriate over 30,000, 35,000 of them, 37,000 of them to Cote d'Ivoire. We were able to construct almost 197 durable housing units for both host community and integrated refugees.
197 units?
Yeah.
Where?
In Boundlima County and PTP Grand Chile County. I mean, if you went there, it's a city. It's a city. It's something that you take a camera and go there. Well structured, they're well built, concrete. Yeah, so our refugee program, in fact, based on how we coordinated the refugee,
You build those structure for the refugees.
both host community and the integrated refugees.
Okay, okay, those are refugees that are accepted to be integrated into the
Integrated.
Liberian society.
Yeah. So 20% were for the host community, and while 80% were for the integrated refugees. So based on our refugee program, we were able to attract the High Commissioner Filippo Glanti to Liberia. He came here and met with His Excellency at the time, the President, President George Weah, and he was very glad to see the way we rolled on our refugee program. Based on that, you see in the first of its history that the UN is able to build a government institution. That is the new L2RC head office. It was based on how we roll our program, the UNHCR builders.
And that was under your watch.
Of course.
Where did you left it?
Complete.
I mean, it got completed.
Yeah.
The L2RC office.
Of course, the president dedicated.
So did they move there while you were there, or it was after you left?
When I left, we delegated. Though I didn't say that though.
Okay, so you built it.
I built it and everything. And the president, in fact, it was one of the last projects that President Weah delegated.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so when we left, the team, the new team, went there. So they are there currently. Beautiful place.
Where is it located again?
It's on the old road, Tata.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that structure began under the leadership then of former President Weah, while you were head of the L2RC, and concluded as well and dedicated.
Yeah. Okay. So, and it actually started during Madam Salif time. Council of Bounds. They acquired the land. That was in 2012. They acquired the land, and I don't know for whatever reason, but the land was acquired, fenced. So
for that purpose.
For the purpose of constructing the L2RC office. That was 2012. So when we got in 2018, one of our goals was to ensure that the L2RC, part of our 5-year strategic roadmap, was to ensure that L2RC have its own head office. So we began negotiating with the UNHCR. At first, the building was intended to host both L2RC and the UNHCR to be hosted in one building. But just in 2018, the UNHCR was in transition from its Mama Point headquarters to the UN building. So there was no more need to continue with the process. But yet we still engaged them, and so they committed to doing that. That bid is 100% sponsored by the UNHCR.
Okay, so in Liberia, you guys were doing some great things with the refugees situations here. You talk about the homes that were being built and the arrangements that were being made to responsibly repatriate, particularly African refugees. But such was not the case, with our own refugees in Ghana, right? They were always pushed for the repatriation. Sometimes it became tensional and all of that. So we want to know how the CDC period, and you particular, right, as head of the agency, how was that coordinated and why there was always tension?
Let's go back to the history, at least to give you why it is.
Okay.
In the 90s, people fled there. The Ghanaian government did actually well by hosting Liberians, giving them shelter. There is a period in the refugee cycle, called the period of cessation. Cessation means that your home country is stable. You have elections going on. Everything is going on. Government is running, so there's no need to stay in the host country. You need to make a decision. So there is a process called the 3D solution. One has to do with repatriation, voluntary repatriation, meaning those who stay there, look, we're going back home.
By themselves,
voluntary. And so that process took place in 2012. People came back. The next option is local immigration. I have stayed 12 years, I've stayed 13, 14, 15 years. I live all of my life here. And so I want to stay here. I want to. The convention gave rise to the host country to give these people status. So they will give you status, you be their resident permit, you go to school, you go to the next thing has to do with a third country settlement.
No, under the second category, you still be a Liberian citizen though.
Of course, it left with you because there are two options there.
Okay.
If you want to naturalize, you would naturalize. If you want to have resident permit, it's up to you to have it. So now, the group I was there, 520 of them. In fact, the number was 2,000. I applied. Okay, for integration. All of the 500, the 520 were people who had special case. So they said, look, we're going to come back. We want to still be refugees here. We still want to be refugees.
They want to be refugee or they want to integrate?
They still want to have international protection in Ghana. So there were 2,000 of them I applied. Out of the 2,000, the Ghana Asylum Committee granted 520. So as we speak on this microphone, you have legitimate refugees in Ghana, Liberians refugees in Ghana, 200 and 520 of them.
Special case.
Legit.
Special case.
Yes. Yeah. So because if you apply, you have to go through the RSD, the whole process, the refugee status determination.
Okay.
And why you want to stay in Ghana, why you still want to have international protection. So there is a whole thing in Liberia. We call it the Asylum Committee, the Asylum regime that is headed by the Anthropology as chairman. I was the chairman of the Asylum Committee. We look at all of your claims and determine whether you still require international protection.
Okay.
If you still require based on your claim, they will grant you. But then you have 500 of them who qualify from the 2,000. So legitimately, we have 520 Liberian refugees
that were qualified under those, but now, there were 2,000 that applied.
Now, those who call for integration, local integration, they were still on the camp. You understand me? In Bujumbura.
Okay.
So as time went back, you learned in 2020 there was this huge. No, in fact, it started 2019.
But the request for local integration was granted as well.
It was granted. In fact, all of my region.
So by the fact that they were granted, then why was there still demand that they be relocated?
So when they say you are locally integrated, it means that you got to live like any other citizen there.
Okay.
You got to hustle for your own thing and do it. So on our regime, we're able to give grant. We work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to give 1,900 passport, Liberian passport. In that passport to Ghana, those people resident permits should have been placed in their passport. That is the process. Okay. That is the process.
And now, you secure all of that?
Yes, of course. So what happened? There were problems with it, in which I took issue with the Ghanaian government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ghanaian government put something in that passport that restricted the integration process. That the people could not work, they could not go to school. They placed on the passport. I took issue with it. I went to Geneva and make the case. I said, this is against the convention. Today, that whole process was solved. Now, it came about. The Ghanaian government started to tell the Liberians they were involved into too much criminality and what. There was a huge noise in 2019.
Okay.
You heard in Monrovia here. It was all on the radio station. The Ghanaian government threatened to evict and demolish the structures on Bujumbura. So the president, commissioned a mission headed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Internal Affairs, Justice, and myself to go there. So we discussed on the table. They brought all of those things, but we realized that what they were saying, that the Liberians were involved in the criminality, weren't true, and they admitted to that. So we came up with a technical working team, and we drew up a SOP in rolling on the process. As part of the SOP,
okay,
we had to come back. We draw all the work plan. We agreed that they have given us the land. We told them thank you. So
different from the Bujumbura land.
No, still Bujumbura land.
Okay.
So after that discussion, we came back. We did all of the documents. We sent it back to Ghana. I went back to Ghana and had a meeting with the guys on the Bujumbura camp and told them you got to get prepared to leave, because the people want that land.
So there are technical meetings and agreement were to engineer the process of
yes,
relocating.
relocate them.
Okay.
Those of them who are current refugees will be relocated in the east of Ghana. Those of them who were just staying on the camp should have left the camp. Then the government were commissioning a repatriation for them to come back to Liberia. That will settle that problem.
Yeah, let's talk about that repatriation.
Okay, so we in the Ghanaian government should have come to Liberia. The delegation should have come to Liberia to meet with the president and discuss it and sign a memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
Okay, then we will go there and now get prepared. We tell them thank you for hosting our people for 32 years on the place. Then we get prepared for repatriation. In that process,
So, but did
process of
the
transition-
delegation come to Liberia?
no, they didn't come. I think they took advantage because we have exited. Because one of the things that
If you say we have exited, you mean the government had changed?
you change. So when
But what we're talking is 2019.
no 2019, in 2019 is when that whole knows about
Okay, the criminality.
the
and stuff, and
criminality,
then you move in.
yeah,
so-
we're moving.
Because the time is important.
Yeah. So 2019, in 2020, we sent people there as part of the SOP
Okay.
to profile the population intended to come back. So I sent the team there. They spent like 2 weeks in Ghana. They profiled those individuals that have opted to come back to Liberia. Meaning, we want to know where you're coming from. We want to know where you stayed in Liberia. Okay. We want to know who are your parents. Because there were people who called the red-coded people. That number around 300. Red-coded mean some of the people were born on the camp. They don't know what Liberia is. They don't know what Liberia is. Their parents died. So we found it difficult with the immigration service, Liberia Immigration Service, to find their identity. All right. So yes, but you speak with them, you see the Liberianness in them, you see everything in them. So we call them the recorder. So in 2021, we sent a team to profile. We brought the profile result. As part of the SOP, we were to construct a transit center. So if you go to Johnsonville, you'll see the Enterprise Transit Center in Montserrat County.
Okay.
If you went to Secler, PA, you will see a transit center that was constructed. If you go to PTP, Tostar, you will see a transit center that is constructed. In other words, those people were to come. Those of them are going to Grand Gilet because most of them are going to Grand Gilet. We'll bring them through the borders, Côte d'Ivoire border, and just go straight to the transit center in Tostan to prepare you and start to exit you and send you to your various localities at which you stay there.
And the transit center were temporary structures?
Of course, they were temporary. Only in Montserrat, where we built some prefab material, that was intended, because the whole program wasn't intended to spend 1 month. The whole program was intended for like 2 weeks.
At transit center. Okay.
Yeah, transit when they come, as you come, we prepare you, we give you where we should go, then you exit.
Okay, so the idea to have built tarpaulin structures to have the people there, because that's what we saw in the Johnsonville and other areas.
Well, I can speak to that on my program.
Yeah, but the initiative started on your program.
Yeah,
so those centers, how you intended to have built the centers?
No, if you went to Johnsonville, you'll see your prefab materials that have been built there. All right, we build other structure to prepare it. Look, the people were to come the next morning, sleep. Maybe you come in the night, you sleep. Early in the morning, the team prepare you, they register you, make sure they verify you. You get what you're supposed to get as your reintegration packet, a resettlement packet. You leave the transit center. So it was never intended for people to stay in that place.
But 1 week was sufficient to bring the people, reintegrate them, identify their family, and send them out?
The process, why we went for the profiling, what the profiling are all right about. I went Ghana continuously and informed the people, look, government don't have money. And some of you, remember now in 2012 when the people came back, some of them went back to Ghana. At the time, the government gave them a resettlement package. So we told them, as you come back to Liberia, the government don't have that money.
So let's talk about the resettlement package. It became contentious. What did you leave on the book for resettlement?
So let me speak for myself.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
So there were 2 categories. The head of family, $300. The children, $200 to I think $250 for the children.
Okay.
That's where we left that process. I showed that the team did what they could do with that, so I can't speak to them. But we did not.
But what you heard the team did?
No, I can't speak to that.
You didn't hear
I'm focusing on different other things. I'll focus on other things. Yeah.
Well, as former here and somebody who worked on the whole thing, when all of the noise started, when these Liberians were brought back to the country, they would be complaining that they weren't receiving this, they weren't receiving that, and knowing what you did to make sure that the process would be smooth. Were you disappointed?
No, I wasn't disappointed. What I think, because working in that sector, I understand the complexities of the sector. I understand dealing with people like that, there will be always problem. And so I thought that the team needed some time to adjust to know what the situation is. Again, they did what they could do. So it was not my part to be disappointed. The people were doing what they thought was best for them in the role of the operations.
Even though it became reported that the listing were bloated and there were names, ghost names, that turned out that indeed it was a syndicate to corrupt the system, and others got suspended, heirs got suspended and subjected to inquiries.
Well, I really didn't follow that. Actually, I was very
You didn't follow that?
No, I didn't follow. I know I heard some noise, but I was not interested in that. I'll focus on, because I established the global initiative for the advancement of refugees.
And you have been working with the LRRC partnering. Aren't you?
At the time we're not really partnering, but at the time I was formulating the institution. So my whole focus was see how we could focus and establish the organization better. Yeah.
Okay, his name is Reverend Festus Logan, and of course we're having conversations about refugee situation in Liberia, and of course Liberia returnees and what was there for them and all of that. What did the CDC and his administration there at the LRRC left in place and all that. So we're about to transition to go to the Southeast. He got this tension about what do you know about the Burkinabés and their presence in Grand County that have become so tensional and all that?
Yeah, we initiated that particular thing when we were there. But let me give you some historical background of the Burkinabé coming to Liberia. It started about 2016, okay. 2017, 2018, and before I left, that number continued to grow. Okay. Approximately, you have almost 40,000 Burkinabés in the borders of Liberia. I kept hearing you talking.
How many thousand?
Approximately 40,000 in Liberia. I keep hearing you talking about Grand Jide. The Burkinabé not only in Grand Jide.
Yeah, but that Grand Jide situation became
the Burkinabé are in Ghana, in Nimba, Grand Jide, River G. In Maryland County. In fact, many of them at the time was there. They were finding a way to Sano, coming to River Cess, like that. Now, in 2023, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees sent out a circular informing countries to give protection to the Burkinabé. So there is a circular that is in force.
Okay.
Because of the situation that was happening in Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
during the coup d'etat period.
I think so. That was in July of 2020.
Yeah, because there was 2023 coup d'etat that happened there.
Yes. So in 2023 June, we launched a mission. That is the LRRC, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Ministry of the Liberian Immigration Service, IOM, the International Organization for Migration, to assess the situation. That was a need assessment mission that we went through. But when we found out that, look, nobody should lie to you. I heard people saying that they are deporting the deported, 40 of them. I think the government need to rethink the strategy. The government need to rethink the decision, because that situation brought us seriously on national security.
How?
because most of the places the guys are, they are deep into the forest.
Okay.
In fact, if we're not careful, most of our forests are being cut down by them. Places that we went, nobody will tell you that human beings even live there. They live in tent.
In the forest.
In the forest. In the forest.
But how did they manage to enter there?
Because your borders are very poorer. People come through the border, different points of the entry point of the borders. They come and settle.
So, but what informed that UNHCR circular that you're referencing? Where?
Because there were turbulence in Burkina Faso.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the guys they could come and stay to Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay.
But then there was this problem of resistance from Cote d'Ivoire. So the only place they found easy was in Liberia. So as we speak, currently, the guys are all in the bushes.
So they came to Liberia for refuge purposes. Is that what you're saying? Or they came to do farming?
Now that's what I'm going to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And then where we say, when I was there, we're recommending the government. I want to use this time to recommend the national government. Instead of putting the people back, the LIS, putting them in pickup and sending them back, which they will come back, what can happen? We recommended that the population needs to be profiled to know who they are, to determine their status.
But you're in a position to do that. Why you didn't do that?
No time. I said 2023. That was 2023.
Oh, it happened.
Right? Yeah.
But you said it started coming since 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
And then you took over when?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
All the time you were
but
there.
At that time, our
them?
focus was never on that population. We now had a real.
Okay, so you sat beside the danger and you allowed it to go.
It's not about sitting beside the danger. It's about putting safeguards and monitoring the situation. I just told you.
So what did you do? What the safeguards you put in place?
We have border monitors.
They were still coming in.
They were still coming, but we're now our situation is now of responsibility to stop them from coming.
But you put in border monitors. So how effective were
you? Information. How are they coming? Where are they?
Okay.
So do we have our border?
And then what did you do with the information?
We had the information. We have board meetings. We discussed it. We made recommendation that this group of people are coming to Liberia. Mm-hmm. We wanted to determine our status.
Okay.
Because it's our responsibility. Anthropizing and talk about
that's okay.
Determine the people who are vulnerable to come into the system, to come into the society, to determine their status. So what we did was we had the UNHCR, the IOM, we went with the need assessment mission, and we discussed with them. Now, something interesting that we found out was that there's something called the 40-60. 40-60 means the Burkinabe will work for Liberians.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they harvest, 40% come to the Burkinabe, then 60% goes to the Liberian people.
But that sounds like a kind of formal arrangement between the community people and the Burkinabe.
Yeah, so
there must have been an existence of tranquility among them.
So what we also found out too,
Mm-hmm.
Abu, that there were people who were focused guys bringing these people in our borders.
Okay.
And we found out that there were people, yes,
to have that, to make use of the
yes.
Yeah, that means Liberians are living from here.
Yes, going and bringing those guys to Liberia.
That
was some of the things. The reports are there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But those must have been powerful people then.
Of course, for powerful people that we can't even know where that power coming from. So we noticed that we try. In front of you, when you read the report, I caution them that this is against the Liberian law. This contract that you are getting in, we don't get in contract the way that you are getting the contract. So, but we found a component of that particular thing to be migrant. The economic migrant that came. Okay. We found another component who came from international protection. Indeed, because the segments of Burkina Faso they came from, were places of war. So they actually came from there based on protection, but they have to team up with their brothers and sisters, the bed on the ground, for livelihood. Mm-hmm. So we interview them.
So there is the economic migrants,
yes,
and there's those that were seeking refuge.
Yes, that they are there. Okay, so what we try to do, we recommended the national government, you need to do an overall profiling of them to determine their status. Those of them who came for based on well-funded fear or persecution, on a race or whatever, and they came to Liberia, we gave them the status. Those of them that came as an economic migrant. Now, I think government can make use of that population because we found that most of them are farmers. So what can
you warn that their presence is dangerous and impose national security?
Yes, because they are all scattered in the forest. You don't know who they are. Though we see them making farm, they are farmers and help other people to make farm. But
did they identify the people who were bringing some of them?
Of course, we spoke to them. In fact, many of them refused to speak to us. The few that we spoke to us, we read the total time. We called them, we spoke to them. Because I personally wanted to.
And they accepted that they were the one bringing them.
Of course,
and those people were Grandidians?
Some of them, I don't know their nationality, but they were Liberian.
I mean, the people who were bringing them in.
I don't know their tribe, but they were Liberian.
Oh, they could be from other countries.
Yeah, they could be other. The guys had big motorbikes. You see them, they're not even. Some of them were the very Burkina Faso who were in connection with the Liberian people, bringing their brothers and sisters here. All right. So,
any government official or high-profile county leaders or associated?
Our meeting with the county leader at the time did not really show that.
Because I'm told politicians have also been bringing Burkina Faso in to cultivate their farms.
I want to believe that, but I cannot verify that. It's something that I want to believe.
But you did a study in the place, or why you want to keep that? No, if you want to talk about that one, we can leave that one.
No, not I don't want to talk about it because I want to tell you something that I'm not sure of. I don't want to accuse people that I'm not sure, but I think nobody will just be flowing to the place with the county administration in place and cannot put stop to them.
Okay.
All right. But I spoke with the Liberians. We spoke with Liberians. We spoke with the Burkina Faso themselves who were bringing our brothers and sisters in collaboration with those Liberians into the place. The guys are all scattered in the forest, in Nima, in Granjide, in River G. In fact, the River G superintendent at the time was very concerned.
40,000 is no joke number.
In fact, that number may have
increased.
Mm-hmm. There is the issue of intermarriages that are ongoing. And you understand me? So the government need to take siege of the issue, empowered, and the guys at the Air Troop Policy, the current Air Troop Policy administration, they're doing very well. All right. And I think they need to empower the Air Troop Policy.
Who's the ones that were suspended for the refugee pool money?
The interim leadership there. I think they are doing very well. I've monitored their activities. I've visited the acting ED and we exchanged notes. I think the guys are doing very well. And that institution needs to be empowered to do its work. And this should not only be about the Air Troopers, I think is a multi-sectorial approach. Bringing the LIS, bringing the Air Troopers as a lead, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, there need to be a multi-sectorial approach on that issue because the population is very huge. The government need to determine the status of those people.
But the government has already begun repatriation.
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Trust me.
But you just lauded that they're doing very well, and part of that well is to send them back.
No, I'm talking about working on the mechanism. And, when I'm talking about doing well, I'm talking about the current Air Troop Policy leadership.
Okay.
Yeah, leadership.
In handling the Burkina Faso.
In the way they're running the affairs of the commission. But when it comes to the Burkina Faso situation, I think it needs to be a multi-sectorial approach and look at it very critically to handle the situation. Putting a 40% in car and deporting them, you're joking.
Okay.
You're joking.
Why do you say so?
Because it's not sustainable. Have you gone to some of the border points in Liberia? It's just about walk. You walk outside, you come back. Those people will still come. I've just told you that those people are in your forest.
So what should government do?
Empower the necessary institution. Go the first thing, get to know who the people are. Profile them. Have a document on them.
But they are Burkina Faso. We know that already.
Being Burkina Faso doesn't know who they are.
Okay.
All right? Except you profile them and we got to know. You just got to profile them to know who they are. All right?
And after profiling?
After profiling, then you determine their status. Whether the person is an economic migrant.
And after that, what do you do?
Then you formulate a program. Because understand
and what program will you
suggest? There's an AU free movement.
Okay.
And Liberia is a signatory to that. And then AU's national can come to your border. That's what the free movement say. Article 1 of that.
I agree. So what project would you recommend? Because time is fast spent.
One, I think the government can raise a lot of money for those of them who want to naturalize. All right? Naturalization, you can give them document to be here. Number 2, those of them who meet the International Convention, the 1957 Convention at AU, to be refugees in the borders of Liberia based on the findings, you give them status, they will still need a naturalization. Those of them are agricultural people, the farmers. Is it possible that we enhance our agriculture program? Bring host community members, bring those people who are already making farm for people who are making that money and government is not benefiting. Can you bring those people together? Social cohesion. Focus them, form a cooperative with them and focus on your agriculture program. Instead of you going there, because it's not sustainable and just putting that in paper, the people come back.
Yeah, but the communities are complaining and the communities apparently appear not to be welcoming of their presence. They want them out, the communities, and this is where you want to keep them. So
this is why you got to be careful too. Before
the local communities are saying they are attacking their farmland.
When they got tired, this is what they say. Encourage the people making farm for them.
But that was them.
So they where the profiling needs to be focused. You need to profile them to know what the situation is, because you allow the people to come. The people find for you. They were there. What is going on? And one thing that I caution,
they feel that there's a risk, and that's what the communities, the local communities, are probably protecting or acting against.
And which is that right? But what you do as government, I recommend strongly to government that those persons need to be profiled. You need to determine the status of those individuals. It's important to know. Are they military people? Are they who are they? Just masquerading in your border. You got to know that. People
are afraid that they could take over the entire region.
Well, with the number that has been projected, I'm afraid that and the number at the time, the ages, they range from 18 to 40. So you mean 18 to 40, the oldest person that we spoke to around 60. But the rest of them was those 30-year-old men and 19-year-old men, that in the borders of Liberia.
Well, folks, let's that's Reverend Festus looking. I think it has been a very interesting conversation here, and so those interested can call us on 0776 104 104 086 500 104. There are other experts out there on these things, and people who have traveled along the region there and have seen the risks associated. Just whatever the view that you may have, these things are important. And I like when the Reverend talk about the AU charter, the free movement, things that exist between African countries, and of course there are MRU and ECOWAS agreement and protocols too that we also have to adhere to. So 0776 104 104 086 500 104. We are 6 minutes after 10. We can squeeze 2 calls. Also, the Reverend will give us his parting comments. Yeah, because 0776 104 104 086 500 104. Let's talk to that person.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You're live on the radio. Walk away from the monitor, please.
My name is Robert Damba, and I want to commend the Reverend in studio and for explaining the liberation. Like I said, the issue about the Burkina Bay is a serious security issue. And I had the privilege to work in Nigeria when he was the executive director then. I know what happened in that forest. There's a time guys on call, most times you get in that time, you see women, you see children. If you are saying people will leave their vicinity to their camp with children and they're stuck up in the bush, then there is a serious security issues. Like I said, you must look at it in 2 folds. You either look at it from the economic or standpoint, or you look at it from what the refugee the only solution to that, you have to make sure that you do the profiling to determine the status.
Okay,
All right,
let's talk
thank
to
you.
this person. Morning.
Yeah, good morning, Abu, and good morning to the Reverend. This is someone calling on this system of our country. And Abu, I made comment on OKFN the last time. It's very fair for these people what may need to pay key attention. I said it last time, okay, far back, 28, 29, 2010. As people enter that foreign, the issue of Nigeria bringing them in, that is fight. People brought the people in because they were unable at the time. So Nigeria follow without a mineral, hunting, something they were getting the resources. And looking at them, making huge stuff. That's just the 40 best years, more than decades.
Okay.
I can assure you, if the current government not put things to the matter and for profiling the coconut beef, I can assure you there will be a cost not only limited to Nigeria.
Okay, let's talk to this person. Finally, morning.
Good morning, Abu Sharif.
Morning.
I'm actually Chairman Tomasi. We are both calling from Kawa, district number 11.
Go ahead quickly.
Yeah, let me get command the Reverend in studio. Reverend Professor looking, you shut it off. And I've shown it in support of the medical laws of democratic change and no.
All right, thank you very much. So, Reverend, listen to the calls because of time. We can't go more than that. We're already pressed. So,
you.
how do you leave us?
So let me say thanks to the both of you for the work you're doing. I want to say thanks to the guys who monitoring the situation. I still propose to national government that the number of Burkinabés in the border of Liberia, they are very huge, and the situation is dire. There needs to be a multi-sectoral approach headed by the LTRO that have the specialists in that. The LTRO needs to be very much empowered to do its work, to determine the status of those individuals in the borders of Liberia. They are in Nimba, they are in Grange, they are in River G, they are in Maryland counties. They are now coming to Sando and River.
So they're gradually encroaching on.
Us. We need to determine the status. And the determination of the status will determine what the next program phase will be. And I want to say thank you. And we're around. We'll always be around.
We'll call you again. We'll talk about the other one.
Yeah.
Thank you very kindly. And yes, we have to go home. Higa, how do you leave us?
We'll be here on tomorrow. Let's keep the peace of Liberia. At 1 o'clock, Abu and I will try to be at the Foreign Ministry to sit and watch the voting process today.
We will be there, sit and watch, sing the praise and worship song.
When they welcome me, they say they want labor.
And folks, that's how we like to leave you. Until we meet you tomorrow, do have yourself a wonderful time. Bye bye.
When they keep their ground, they change their mind.